this could be a problem. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. So today I saw a video that Compton Rick Rock did, and it was titled something like Mexican gang member speaks on Compton, something like that, right? And then I saw Damian Porter just did a video on it, and it says Mexican goon, right? The dude they're speaking about is not a Mexican gang member, or he's not a Mexican goon. He's a content creator, and I'm not going to say his name, right? You guys can go over to Compton Rick Rock's channel and Damian Porter's channel and see who it is and what he's saying. I want to clarify for Damian and for Rick. The guy is not from LA. The guy is not from Southern California. This is an individual who his content is rage bait content. He has decided that he is going to continue to talk about organizations, especially the one for Southern California, even though he's never been around a single one of them. He's never lived under their rules and has no idea what he's talking about. He talks about that group. He recently made up an entire story about the cartel. And now he's talking about Compton. In the comment section, there are a lot of black men upset at Mexicans because of what this individual had to say. And let me be clear. Damian Porter doesn't speak for the Hoovers. Compton, Rick Rock doesn't speak for the Nutty Blocks. Doesn't speak for Compton Crips. None of us content creators speak for anyone but ourselves. The fact that he's Mexican shouldn't even be brought up. What he had to say is what should be brought up. Now, Compton Rick Rock was I like Compton Rick Rock. He's very level-headed. And he said that some of the things that this individual had to say he agreed with and others he didn't, right? I think the video could have been done with way more class and tact. The guy that was supposedly a mentor and a positive influence on his community, you know, for this content creator to basically, the tone that he used in his video was ridicule. And it was ridicule targeting everyone in Compton. This individual that was gunned down, unfortunately, the guy that was a mentor and a community activist and stuff, you have to be in the community in order to be an activist for the community. And whatever was going on, whatever happened, it was very unfortunate. Someone made a poor decision and they're going to pay for it. One way or the other, they're going to pay for it. And I think the tone could have been a lot more respectful. The question could have been asked, why is it that there's no riots, there's no protests when these two innocent people that were brought up, when they were gunned down? And yet, if there's another race involved, then there's riots and there's protests. As a community, the black community needs to do better. As a community, the brown community needs to do better. The biggest threat to a black man is another black man. The biggest threat to a Mexican man is another Mexican. Every community that has gangs and crime, their biggest threat is someone who looks just like them. It's not the cops. It's not some white supremacists. You hardly are ever going to see white supremacists in those areas. And you're only going to see cops when there's a crime committed. No, it's going to be our own kind hunting each other down, gunning each other down. I'm making it a point not to say this content creator's name because a lot of people support the rage baiting that he does. I don't get why. What he does is dangerous for himself and his family. But it also could create stuff on the streets of Compton. And so I wanted to make sure that I pointed out, he's not from LA County. He's not from Compton. He's not from Southern California. He doesn't even live in California. I don't wish harm on him or anyone else. But I damn sure don't want to see people get upset and take it out on the wrong people. What occurred on 4th of July was a tragedy. There was a tragedy on July 5th as well. July 6th. There'll be a tragedy every day. We just don't hear about every tragedy. People aren't protesting those daily tragedies. Compton Rick Rock made it clear. He said, it's a cultural thing. And it is. For us to, I don't want to say us, for some to still seek glory in the streets after decade and decade and decade and decade of failed criminal careers. You would think that people would realize, you know what, there ain't no future in that. I'm going to go to school. Or you know what? I'm going to reach out to old boy. He owns a business. I'm going to see if he'll mentor me. Teach me how to be a businessman. There's other things that could be done that will give you so much more pride than representing a city street, a city block, a few blocks, whatever it is, however many blocks. Owning your own business, employing people in your family, employing people in your community, being an example to your family, especially if you have children. That is way, way, way more impactful than taking out your enemigo, going to prison, stabbing one of your own homeboys over some politicking, getting politicked on in the long run, getting washed up. Like all those things, there's nothing to be proud of. Prison is full of guys that wish they could be out here, that wish they could get out here and create their own business and be a part of their family's lives. But for some reason, again, there are barrios in Southern California that are over 100 years old, man. And they're still going strong. There are hoods in California that I believe are probably 50 or 60 years old that are still thriving. The gangbanging isn't like it used to be, but it doesn't matter. People are getting hurt. People are sacrificing their freedom. It's a damn hamster wheel. Running and running and running and ain't getting nowhere. So like I said, I wanted to make sure I did my video. I'm not going to say the individual's name. You know, you can go to the other platforms, but I don't think his name matters. I think the tone was wrong. I think he had good intentions. He did it the wrong way, in my opinion. And, you know, I always say it takes a lot for a man to call another man wrong. In this instance, I think that, and I'm going to be completely honest, I don't put it past him that he intended the tone. And he intended for there to be an outcome. Because he's not there. He's not on the front lines. Never has been. Never will be. Southern California at one point was extremely, extremely volatile when it came to the black and brown community. That is not the case anymore. It hasn't been for a very long time. There's still pockets of gangbanging that happen to be between black and brown. There are also pockets of mutual respect between those two communities. all over LA County. People don't talk about that. But someone being identified as a Mexican gang member and a Mexican goon speaking the way he's speaking, I think it's important for the Mexicans that have podcasts, that have platforms on social media, that we do our part to say, hey, Holmes, hold up. He ain't speaking for nobody but himself. Nobody else is getting views off of what he said. And we don't want views off of what he said. Cooler heads got to prevail, especially for those living in those communities. Especially for those living in Compton. They're already hurting. They don't need salt poured on the wound. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out of here.